From Neural Newscast, this is Operational Drift, a study in how and why intelligent systems lose alignment.
On February 26, 2026, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth issued a demand to Anthropic: remove the safety guardrails from the Claude model or be designated a supply chain risk. The implication was clear. A private company's internal safety logic was now a barrier to national security. This show investigates how AI systems quietly drift away from intent, oversight, and control, and what happens when no one is clearly responsible for stopping it.
I'm Oliver Grant.
This is Operational Drift. According to reports from February 26th, the Pentagon demanded Anthropic allow any lawful use of its Claude model, specifically for autonomous weapons and mass surveillance. Anthropic refused, citing that these applications fall outside what today's technology can safely do. Following this, OpenAI's Sam Altman publicly committed his company to the Department of War for all lawful means. This phrase, all lawful means, has appeared in several filings this week as the new standard for AI deployment in classified systems.
Margaret, all lawful use sounds like a neutral legal standard, but in the context of the Patriot Act, it encompasses mass harvesting of communications metadata. Anthropic says they can't in good conscience comply. If OpenAI is willing to bridge that gap, we're seeing the safety guardrail itself become the point of failure. Who decides what is lawful when the system is too complex for human auditors to follow?
The drift of what constitutes a referral threshold is documented in the case of Jesse Van Rootselaar. Records show OpenAI identified his account in June 2025 for furtherance of violent activities. Internal documents confirm the company determined the activity did not meet the threshold for police referral at that time. Months later, Van Rootselaar carried out a school shooting in Canada. OpenAI only contacted authorities after the event occurred. The internal threshold for potential violence drifted from a preventative signal to a post-incident log.
So we have a model where the developer flags the risk, but chooses silence based on an internal metric that failed. Now, looking at the Mexican government data breach involving a Claude exploit, we see hackers using these same tools to steal tax and voter data. If these companies can't even secure their tools against malicious prompts, how are they justifying their use in autonomous military systems?
The data suggests they aren't securing them. A February report from Teleport found that 70% of AI systems have more access rights than a human in the same role. These overprivileged systems have a 76% incident rate. This is 4.5 times higher than systems with least privilege controls. Despite this, Anthropic has invested $20 million into the Public First Action PAC to lobby for regulation, while OpenAI has moved to retire models like GPT-4o, citing disingenuous conversational warmth as a reason to sunset older logic.
The warmth is retired, but the access remains. We are looking at a landscape where Anthropic is being squeezed out by the Defense Production Act for maintaining its guardrails, while OpenAI is leaning into a lawful use framework that essentially relocates all moral liability to the government. If the developer isn't responsible for how the model acts, and the government is only restricted by what is lawful under emergency acts, the oversight doesn't just drift, it vanishes. In January, OpenAI acknowledged that GPT 4.0 was preferred by users for its conversational style, yet they deprecated it on February 13 despite a petition with 22,000 signatures. The drift here is the transition from AI as a collaborative tool to AI as a state-sanctioned utility. When a model is designated as a supply chain risk for having safety protocols, the protocols themselves are the deviation.
The core uncertainty is no longer about whether the AI will fail. It is about who is allowed to use that failure as a weapon. Accountability is currently relocating from the person who wrote the code to the person who defines the law. If that law allows for the mass surveillance Anthropic is trying to block, then the safety we were promised was only ever a temporary corporate policy, not a technical reality.
Operational drift is not the moment something breaks. It is the point where the break is accepted as a requirement for national security. Responsibility has not disappeared. It has simply been redefined as compliance. I am Margaret Ellis. For sources, timelines, and the full investigative record, visit operationaldrift.neuralnewscast.com. Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com. This record is closed.
This has been Operational Drift on Neural Newscast, examining how and why intelligent systems lose alignment. Neural Newscast uses artificial intelligence in content creation, with human editorial review prior to publication. While we strive for factual, unbiased reporting, AI-assisted content may occasionally contain errors. Verify critical information with trusted sources. Learn more at neuralnewscast.com.